Alright, good afternoon everybody. This is Jay Built. Here today. We're working on the B17 A1. We're about to do the oil pan because the oil pan I have right now is no good. The bolt is actually stripped, so I'm going to take it out and possibly rethread it or just buy a new one, save me the hassle. But here we're going to take a look. My motor doesn't have the headers on there, but when you do the oil pan gasket, you're gonna have to take out your head bolts for your headers, and they're 12 millimeter, so you want to take those out. There's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 bolts you're gonna want to remove, and then after you do that, you want to come down here, and your exhaust will run from up there down here behind the oil pan, and then it should have two connections which are attached to the exhaust, which you also have to take off whatever bolts those are. But we're going to get into taking off the bolts here, which are all 10 millimeter bolts, and they go all the way around right beside the tranny. And you're gonna have to take each and every one of those off all the way around. And then once you take those all off, it should come right out, and there should also be a gasket in between. See that blue gasket? That's called your oil pan gasket. It's gonna prevent any type of leaks. Just don't make sure it doesn't bind on anything or get stuck. You want to make sure it's all sealed flat and complete all the way around. You don't want to see it pinching in. But alright, let's get to it. Enough of me talking. Gonna have my buddy Jose. He's gonna take care of the camera work on this because I gotta get to work. Alright. Alright guys, so I have a Ryobi Impact. I'll go ahead and use that. It's not the best, but it gets the job done because these aren't torqued down too much. And then here's your 10 millimeter bolt. Deep socket. I usually use the deep sockets. They work pretty well. So we'll go ahead and start taking these off one by one. Alright, there's one. Next one.
Wonder who was the smart guy to paint that orange, huh?
And obviously with the least amount of bolts you get, you want to start to hold the oil pan because it will fall on your face. So go ahead and hold that there. Get into the last bolt, and then we'll go ahead and remove it. And if your exhaust is on, which it shouldn't be because you should have removed it, it'll come right off. And it comes right out. Alright, and there's that gasket. Looks mighty nice. Brand spanking new. Alright. Let's install the new one. Right, there's the inside. Want to make sure she's clean, free of debris. I'm gonna go ahead and install it the same way we removed it. Alright, you go ahead and hold her up. And usually I put 4 bolts on each corner. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put the remaining ones on. But that way, with the bolts in each corner, it'll be mounted up enough for you to let go of it and finish installing your 10mm nuts and bolts, because there's nuts as well as bolts, so just keep that in mind. And it's better to hand tighten something before you use an impact. It's never recommended to use an impact straight off the bat. Always hand tighten and then go back with your impact and then hand tighten. That's the way I normally do things, because you don't want to strip anything. Aluminum is very easy to strip, and that's the last thing you want to do, is strip any bolts or anything that will get stripped. Alright guys, now once all of them are tightening in place, go ahead and tighten these down. I'm gonna go get some more bolts, because this one actually had some bolts missing, so I'll be right back. Some extra bolts for the oil pan. It's never a good idea to run the oil pan with missing bolts, especially when it's more than 2, at least 2. There was a couple missing, so I went ahead and grabbed some extra bolts on my spare motor, which is fantastic, making sure that I didn't have to run the Honda. So here we are. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten her down with the impact. I wouldn't recommend doing it with any high class gun impact, like a D-Wall or a Snap-on or anything like that, because those things are really powerful. This is not the best gun, but it gets the job done. Alright, and you want to start at each corner, that way it kind of seats flush. So I do all 4 corners first. And then I'll work my way to the middle. The 2 nuts. The other ones are bolts. You want to do the 2 nuts, tighten them down. They're right across from each other, right in the middle. So that's good to keep it centered. So these 4, you want that nut, this bolt, and then do these 2 nuts. And then come over here and do these, you know, the same exact way. Make your way to the middle, and then you can go ahead and finish tightening the rest. my way around twice, and first time tighten them all down just enough, and then the second time just making sure none of them really spin, and you know, they're torqued down pretty nicely. And then after it's installed, you do want to come back and then again recheck that gasket, make sure there's no pinches or anything like that, and just make sure she's seated flush. And you'll really know that is when you put in the bolts. They shouldn't really give you much of a problem. If you're having problem installing the bolts, it's probably being pinched somehow. But that's it. That is how you install a oil pan. Same process for D series, B series, H and F series. They're pretty much all the same. But again, that's how you install an oil pan, and the same way you can remove it. Again, if you liked my video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you and have a good day.
And where can